Now for global business updates, Rotus Oddiri joins us. Good morning, Rotus.
Good morning, Dr. Abati. Good morning, Vimbai. Good morning, Rufai. Good morning, all our viewers. I see what are we matching today, kind of. Slightly different shades. All right, we begin with what to watch. 50 Shades of Grey. Very freaky movie.
Check the quality.
Yes, mine is made in Nigeria.
Who has the better quality?
Nigerian made. Rufai's one is foreign, and he's always talking about US dollars and so on. All right, let's start with what to watch this week. Computex. There's a lot of tech. Computex is the second largest B2B conference in the world. It's in Taipei, taking off for the next four days. I think NVIDIA already announced something on robotics early this morning. Get more details on that. Microsoft Build, that's also taking place over the next 3 days. That kicks off today. More AI talk about co-pilots and so on. Tuesday, look out for Home Depot because they're very much like Walmart. Walmart is in the news for tariffs. So a lot of people buy their home building materials there. Google I.O., that kicks off tomorrow, Tuesday. Lots of AI stuff as well. Wednesday, much like Home Depot and Walmart, Target, or Target, as some people like to pronounce it, will be releasing its earnings as well. We'll be looking forward to hearing what the executives have to say about tariffs. Lowe's, same thing. Lowe's and Home Depot, they compete for home products. They'll be releasing earnings as well on Wednesday. Thursday, U.S. jobless claims. Friday, U.S. new home sales. Mortgage rates are like 7-point-something%. Kevin Mallory, who is the senator from Maryland in the U.S., there lots of stuff happened this weekend. He said that Trump is now back, I think, in America now from his Middle East trip. He said the U.S. on tech Trump sold out the U.S. technology to the Middle East to basically benefit himself and his family.
Before we go to the Middle East, my view is the overall narrative here was selling out U.S. national interests for the private gain of his family business. He essentially gave away the crown jewels of American AI and semiconductor technology to the Gulf. In exchange, it looks like for a $2 billion investment in the Trump family stablecoin venture.
Ken Griffin, the billionaire CEO of Citadel LLC, finance company, big Trump supporter, over the weekend said that Americans do not want low-wage Chinese jobs. He made a reference to Dave Chappelle. We've played this clip before, 2017. I'll play it after we hear from Ken Griffin. Here's what he said.
I mean, look, there's a great video clip from Dave Chappelle, and it goes something like, Americans want to wear Nikes, not make Nikes. And I think he's spot on. I don't understand why we think it's a virtue to bring back to America low-skilled jobs in manufacturing. I completely agree with the president. We need the ability to ramp up our manufacturing base to strengthen our national defense. Spot on right. But I don't think the American people are looking for a return to low-skill, low-paying manufacturing jobs in our country. I don't think they want those jobs. I think they want jobs where we are building high-value-added products, successful businesses building high-value-added products where you can create jobs in that factory floor that are well-paying jobs. Those are the jobs we should aspire to create in our country, not jobs that right now China is actually trying to move to other, even lower-cost labor countries. Why do we want those jobs here in America?
We'll skip the Dave Chappelle clip for the sake of time. Let's get to Moody's. Moody's downgraded the United States on Friday, basically going from, I think, AAA to AAA. The outlook is stable, was prior negative. There were a lot of quotes on it. Basically, they're talking about the deficits, they're talking about debts, and they said, and this is specifically about the budget, because funny enough, some Republicans rejected it in a committee on Friday. We do not believe that material multi-year reductions in mandatory spending and deficits will result from current fiscal proposals under consideration. Here's Scott Bessent, also over the weekend. He said Moody's is a lagging indicator, and then he said, who cares about what Moody's has to say? Here's Scott Bessent, U.S. Treasury Secretary.
I think that Moody's is a lagging indicator. I think that's what everyone thinks of credit agencies. Larry Summers and I don't agree on everything, but he said that when they downgraded the U.S. in 2011. So it's a lagging indicator. And just like Sean Duffy said with our air traffic control system, we didn't get here in the past 100 days. It's the Biden administration and the spending that we have seen over the past 4 years. We inherited inherited 6.7% deficit to GDP, the highest when we weren't in a recession, not in a war, and we are determined to bring the spending down and grow the economy.
Now, here's the second half of the clip where he talks about who cares about Moody's. After all, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, UAE, they're bringing so much money into America. Here's what he said.
And if we go back to your initial question on the Moody's downgrades, who cares? Qatar doesn't, Saudi doesn't, UAE doesn't. They're all pushing money in. They've made 10-year investment plans. So this administration, we're doing peace deals, trade deals, and tax deals.
All right, Walmart, as I said, look at earnings from Lowe's, Home Depot, and so much this week. Walmart said that they are going to likely raise prices because of tariffs. The chief financial officer said it on the media. So here's a Truth Social post from Trump in response to that, which has raised a lot of questions about what he said earlier about who gets to pay for it. So look at what Trump said. If you look at this post on Truth Social, Walmart should stop trying to blame tariffs as the reason for raising prices throughout the chain. That's the value chain. Walmart made billions of dollars last year, far more than expected. Between Walmart and China, they should, as he said, eat the tariffs and not charge valued customers anything. I'll be watching, and so will your customers. Bessent was on the same interview. He said he spoke to the CEO of Walmart, and that CEO said that, yes, they will eat the tariffs. But remember, Trump has said that it is the foreign countries that pay the tariffs, not U.S. consumers. And I think finally in Nigeria, Heineken Lopobore, the Minister of Petroleum for Oil, has said that the Africa Energy Bank will in fact kick off pretty soon. Now, these images are from June of 2024. You're looking at engineer Tarek El Molla, who is the Minister of Petroleum and Mineral Resources for Egypt, in the middle there. Of course, Dr. Benedict Erama of the African Energy Bank on the left, and Dr. Omar Farouk Ibrahim of the African Petroleum Producers Organization, the APPO Secretary General. This is when it was signed. But over the weekend, Lopobore said that this $5 billion African Energy Bank is close to completion. That's our updates for today.
It's very sad when you're putting your loyalists there because they will never tell the truth. And America, Trump, right? America keeps crumbling. And that's the sad reality. All of this is for his own family's benefit. And that's why you see Biden was trying to put those guardrails with AI. Because once you sell your technology for free, then it avails you amount to nothing as a country. Especially what is happening with, what's it called as we speak today, with the Trump family, where it's now being revealed that Pam Bondi actually, that is now trying to justify the plane. She tried to write a memo to justify the plane Trump wasn't received as a game. Right? Yeah. Used to be a lobbyist to the Qataris before. And Trump forgets that most of these promises are audio. He leaves power today. He's a one-term president. He leaves power today. They might not follow through with the promises. That's just it. So there are no hard feelings to these things, but it just speaks volumes. Now, Scott Bessent calling Moody's lagging.
Sorry, I mean, please let me who cares? U.S. Treasury, the 30-year Treasury yield has jumped to 5% this morning, and stock futures are down. Sorry, so who cares? The market cares.
Who cares? It's indicative of how America is plummeting with all the lies.
Okay. I think it's also important to put in context that when Moody's released that statement, they said successive governments have failed to rein in the
deficit,
debt. Yeah. And for me, what was important, an important takeaway is that, especially here in developing countries in Nigeria, we often say there's nothing wrong with borrowing. Oh, America has a deficit and so forth. And this is a reminder that, in fact, deficit can be a very dangerous thing. Yeah. Debt in itself, because we do try to justify and sort of PR our way out of it. Yes, fine, borrowing within reason, but again, a reminder, because we often use America as a reference point to say, well, they have over, what do they have, 30-something trillion in debt, so let's borrow. But it gets to a point where your borrowing starts to outweigh your growth, and that's a very critical point. So I think this is an important moment and indicative of the fact that the American model over successive governments, whether it be Republican or Democratic, may not be as sustainable as we may have thought it out to be.
Indeed.
This is as follows. Now, the rating by Moody's rating, this is not the first time. We had X&P rating the American economy in 2011.
That's right.
We have Fitch 2023. Yeah. But it had no effect on stock futures. Now, in the US, we have seen that same pattern. The stock futures have done very well. On Friday, the stock futures rose above 0.52%, whether it's Dow Jones or it's S&P 500. That's number one. But the concern is about budget deficit and debt, because investors are going to ask for higher yields on treasuries, and that will have implications for how the economy plays out. That's that. Second, the 90-day reprieve in terms of tariffs that you have between the US and the China. Now, that has helped a lot. You know, we've seen particularly tech stocks doing very well, Tesla, NVIDIA. But the issue is, will it last? Right. This reprieve, will it be sustained?
Exactly.
Now, third point that I would like to draw your attention to is that the Reserve Bank of Australia starts meeting today.
That's right.
Just as the Monetary Policy Committee of Nigeria is meeting from today and tomorrow. Yeah. What do you expect? Hold or?
Hold for both.
Hold.
Hold.
Yeah. For
hold in
Australia
and hold in Nigeria.
Yes. Thank you very much.
I know, right? So let's bet on it. I think
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr.